Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, a warm welcome to this Viva Group webinar for educators and school leaders. To many of our participants today, I have to say welcome back because you have been part of our events for many years now. We are greatly privileged to host yet another session with Mr. Ashok Ganguly, this time on further topics of great importance to the entire education fraternity. Last year, Mr. Ganguly conducted workshops on effective school leadership in Indore and Kolkata. In those, he discussed in great detail the NEP and the NCF. Building on that effort and focus, today's online session will explore how various provisions of pedagogical importance can be implemented in the classroom situation. Today's webinar will have two parts. The first part will cover the shift from rote learning to the experiential mode. The second part is devoted to the topic ensuring health, mental well-being, and emotional intelligence in classroom pedagogy. We can look forward to an exciting session filled with exclusive insights from Mr. Ganguly's long experience in education policy making and administration. Before we get into the core proceedings of the day, allow me to spend a couple of minutes to share some important information about Viva Group and our efforts towards promoting educational excellence. Viva Group has a shining history of 3.5 decades in education and academics. Our group companies are Viva Books, Viva Education, Volt Learning, Amira Books, and Source Books. We are headquartered in New Delhi, and we have a nationwide marketing and distribution network with branches in Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Kochi, and Guwahati. This is in addition to several regional offices in other cities. Viva Group has been serving the academic fraternity successfully and consistently by responding constantly to their needs and staying up to date with the evolving curricular landscape. A little bit about our constituent companies. Viva Books is a key player in higher academic publishing in a wide range of subject areas, including STEM, management, social science, and humanities. Viva School Books imprint, Viva Education, is a widely admired educational brand. Our school publications have been widely appreciated by learners and educators for their quality content, high editorial standards, aesthetic design, and top-class production values. Viva Education is a brand built on quality. We are equipped with a team of top-notch academic experts, seasoned authors, and professional editors who produce books and digital content that rival the best in the world. Apps, interactivity, animations, and web content are integral to the courses and products we offer. Also part of Viva Group is Volt Learning, a company focused on providing innovative blended curricula in multiple formats. I will be sharing more information about Volt right before the second session of today. Our brand Amira Books focuses on affordably priced textbooks developed for experiential learning. The Viva Group brand Source Books publishes books focused on competitive examinations. Viva Group is focused on building lasting relationships with schools and educators. Over the years, this approach of ours has been rewarded with high loyalty, boundless goodwill, and generous appreciation from you. Thank you very much. Since the release of the NEP and the NCF, we as publishers have had an exciting and busy time designing books and services. We have adopted a three-pronged approach in response to the NEP and the NCF. One, develop books in alignment with the policy recommendations. This included not only upgrading all the existing courses with content aligned with the NCF, but also launching an exclusive imprint called New Directions to custom develop and publish textbooks based on the new curricular norms from the very conceptual stage. Two, incorporate educator feedback and lessons from classroom experience. Three, disseminate the core ideas of the policy through programs and workshops like the one you're attending now. Our distinguished resource person for today, Mr. Ashok Ganguly, was the former chairman of the CBSE and president of the COBSE, the Council of the Boards of School Education. Mr. Ganguly has formerly held positions of Additional Director of Projects, Joint Secretary of Education, and Senior Consultant, Non-Formal Education, all with the government of Uttar Pradesh. He worked closely in formulating and finalizing the National Curriculum Framework of 2005, while he was part of the National Steering Committee and Central Advisory Board of Education. He also worked in a pivotal role in the preparation and development of textbooks for classes 1 to 12 as a member of the National Monitoring Group. Mr. Ganguly has also chaired the Ganguly Committee set up to formulate the admission criteria and other related issues, including minimum age in nursery classes. Viva Group is extremely privileged and honored to have Mr. Ganguly as a patron. I now request him to begin the session we have all been waiting for. Over to you, sir. So you're not audible.
Okay. So audible now?
Yeah, yes.
Thank you, everyone, and the Viva Group for calling me here in this important webinar. And good evening to all the distinguished participants. Well, as just informed by Mr. Taylor, in continuation of my earlier offline presentation, first at Indore and then at Kolkata last year, I had described in detail about the NEP 2020 and the NCF 2023, its pedagogical issues and assessment strategies across stages. So I'm starting with this assumption that you participants are already aware of the key pedagogical issues in NEP 2020. One of the important issues that I will be discussing right now, the basic competence that a teacher should have to impart education, moving from the present system of rote learning to experiential mode. As you know, maybe knowing also, the experiential learning is one of the techniques of active learning process. Other such techniques are project-based learning, integrated learning, inquiry-based learning, activity-based learning, technology-based learning. So when I'm talking of the experiential learning, it includes all these learning processes. Now, when you talk of rote learning, as you're aware, rote learning is a repetitive learning or learning by memorization. It was there in our time. Gen X, Gen Y, and even Gen Z have crossed through it. Rote learning is not that bad as it has been made out. It has certain advantages. It has helped us in remembering various facts, episodes, even years gone by, decades gone by. But as you know, today's students live in a world that is very different. It's a new world order. Today's students have to compete in a globalized world order. So they cannot remain with unsolved problems. The top-down prescriptive model of curriculum will no longer good for them. It is a bottom-up approach. It's a ground-up approach that we need now. See, we learn best through experience and reflection. This means that we want to do the stuff we want to learn and then reflect on the experience. So thus in experiential mode, we do the things, we observe, we feel, we internalize, and then try to analyze it. Here I would like to make a very clear differentiation. You know that experiential learning and experience-based learning are two different things. We should not confuse about this. Experiential learning is always associated with reflection and articulation. In the experiential learning, students are encouraged to reflect on the new knowledge and concepts so that the thinking skills are developed. We have to make our children as a critical thinkers and not just to crack the professional entrance examination. Now, in the reflection process, an important part of the experiential learning, we encourage learners to raise questions. We encourage brainstorming session, encourage group discussion, encourage experimentation, exploration, and even extension of knowledge. And when you talk of the articulation, students are encouraged to externalize their thoughts, their feelings, their doubts. So what is needed now to create a fear-free environment in the classroom and provide creative assignments, projects, and tasks to the learner so that they can externalize their thoughts. I know it's not a very easy activity, easy part, because teachers must be appropriately trained and tuned so that they can design this creative assignment. So there are three cardinal principles when we talk of experiential learning. First, reflection. Second, articulation. And third, scaffolding. I have already talked about reflection and articulation. Now, scaffolding is a process by which every child is given support, assistance, guidance, depending on their needs by the teachers. And then teachers withdraw themselves and the students, the children continue to work independently. Like the construction of the building, that when the building is being constructed, high-rise, the support is provided. That is called the scaffolding. And then they withdraw the support and the building stands on its own. This is a very important process that every child needs support and not just a few child actually, depending on their difficulties, depending on their status. Now, all these pedagogical processes in experiential learning, reflection, articulation, and scaffolding are to be inbuilt into the lesson plan. And it has to be institutionalized into the classroom process to derive the maximum learning from the experience so that desired learning outcomes are reached. So experiential learning cannot be part-time. And in that sense, it cannot be even extracurricular. It has to be in the mainstream, daily, regularly in our pedagogical pursuit. Now, some teachers may say the transition from rote learning to experiential mode may not be smooth, may not be linear. So it is better that if it is implemented in a phased manner and in few subjects and in chosen chapters. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to implement it and we may fall apart. I appreciate the teacher's concern about this. But then we have to make a beginning because we have no other choice. And earlier we start, it is better. So what is needed that we have to change our mindsets and as well as our skill sets. Now, to first of all, what we can do, we can introduce the experiential learning as early as from class 3, the beginning of the prep stage. And in the first year, we can introduce it in class 3, as I said, beginning of the prep stage. Then in class 6, beginning of the middle stage. Then in class 8, end of the middle stage. And in class 9, the beginning of the secondary stage. And in the rest of the classes from the subsequent years. Next, while handling experiential learning in the classroom, in the teaching learning process, we must employ the 5E model of classroom strategy. You are aware of this 5E model of classroom strategy. That is engage, explore, explain, extend, and evaluate. So in a class period of 40 minutes, not more than 25 minutes be given for explanation. And the rest 15 to 20 minutes for other 5E strategy, other E strategy, I can say. So in short, I can say that we need to follow the inductive approach and not the deductive one, which we usually follow and are comfortable with. So hands-on activities, demonstration classes, project-based learning are all parts of experiential learning. And I will make a request, let the lab activities, because demonstration classes are their lab activities, I think we can start from the class 4 onwards, if you are sincere about implementing the experiential learning in your classroom activity. So rather than simply understanding a new subject or gaining a new skill, experiential learning helps establish lasting behavior change. That's the important thing. And one important behavioral change that usually happens when we start early, that children start building imagination in the classroom. See, imagination is only possible when you are giving importance to reading. From reading, only imagination comes. So when the children start building imagination, then this imagination will then lead to innovations. And innovations and creativity will then further lead to entrepreneurial skills. Now, this entrepreneurship will then further lead to income generations later on in their life. And this income generation will then further finally lead to higher quality of life and the better quality of life. That is what we need to achieve. So imagination part is very important, and the teachers must allow that the children must develop this capacity of imagination. Okay. So in our classroom, the currency should be creativity. And our focus should be to imagine, to narrate, and to innovate. Now, some teachers again may say that looking into the huge class size and the curriculum load, it may not be possible to implement rote learning, experiential learning in such situation. I am not agreeing with this contention. Yes, it may not be possible every week or every day. It may not be possible every day because of the curriculum load and our entire system is restricted by clock and calendar. But then can we do once in every week in each subject? Not possible. Then can we do once in every fortnight? I think we should not say not possible. If it's still not possible, then we'll imagine that we'll believe that we do not want that change must happen. That should be one of the important, I think we must take an atomic vow that we need to make a change happens in our classroom. And if we do not practice it or take it seriously, I'm saying that our students will not remain in the mainstream and they will lag behind. They will not be in a position to get success when the globalization is offering tremendous opportunities for everyone. We want that our students must grab those opportunities. So teachers, I'm concluding it now. You have to take charge of your profession. Take charge of your profession. Own your profession. What will be ownership is important. What will be in your OTP? Yes, ownership. And you cannot achieve all these things alone. You have to build up a team of your students and of your colleagues and piece the passion. So take charge of your profession. Read a lot. Are you reading or not? It is then only imagination will happen. Personal, you can maintain a personal library, which will prove that, yes, you are reading a lot. Something important, something substantial. Upgrade your skills. Try to upgrade it. Be calm and composed and bring method to madness. And believe in the mantra that you can change. Change is possible. And you can become a change agent. But start small. Act small. You need to take a small step daily towards your goal. With each step, you will gain momentum. And with consistency, you will be reaching to your goal before you actually realize it. So what is important? Yes, take a small step daily towards your goal. So your final mantra for this purpose should be that you should have perseverance, persistence, and patience. That should be our mantra. Then only we can implement experiential learning in our classroom pedagogy. I think that's enough for the day. You must have many questions. Note down those questions and we're delighted to answer on those things. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Experiential learning was a very abstract topic, and you made it very concrete and actionable, and it is going to be extremely useful to all the participants. We are now ready to begin the second session of today's webinar. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you once again. The second important issue, we talk about the key pedagogical issues, is ensuring health, mental well-being, and emotional intelligence in classroom pedagogy. As you may be knowing, that health and mental well-being is one of the important curricular aims of NEP. I hope that all the participants have already gone through the National Education Policy at least once. One of the 5 curricular aims that has been actually marked, the health and mental well-being is one of them. So lots of emphasis has been given on empathy, mental health, and emotional intelligence in the National Education Policy, and how it has to be integrated or reflected in classroom pedagogy. As you know, that emotional intelligence and mental health are closely linked, and higher emotional intelligence often associated with improved mental well-being. So children need to be emotionally empowered so that they can face the emerging challenges confidently and competently. The bookish knowledge, the cognitive skills will no longer serve them better now. It's the non-cognitive skills that is required now. But in the rat race for scoring high marks, developing mental well-being and emotional intelligence are taking back seat. It's a fossilized thinking. That's the irony of fate, that we are believing in the fossilized thinking that getting a good marks will serve them good later on in their life. We must also understand that learning can never take place in emotion neutral environment. That's why I'm often saying a robot teacher cannot take the place of an active teacher, because we have to create an emotional environment. Learning can never take place in the emotion neutral environment. So the schools, the teachers should realize that candidates' emotional and physical well-being have to be fulfilled along with the cognitive skills, along with the cognitive needs. As you know, the cognitive intelligence is directly proportional to mental well-being. Children will learn best when their mental health are at a peak. With this background, question may arise, what we understand by emotional intelligence. First, in simple terms, we can say, number 1, knowing one's emotion. How are you angry? Are you become very egoistic when you meet someone? Knowing one's emotion. Second, recognizing emotions in others, recognizing the emotions in others, and self-motivation and motivating others. Actually, when you talk of the emotional intelligence, it has 5 core components. First, empathy. Second, self-motivation. Third is the self-awareness. Fourth is the self-regulation. And fifth is the relationship management. This comprises when you talk about the emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, whatever name, or emotional empowerment. Now, the emotional intelligence, along with IQ, along with CQ, that is creative quotient, and along with SQ, that is the spiritual quotient, had emerged as the key to get success in this new world order, in this globalized world order. So we have to build up these skills from early in our students. Health and physical educations have already taken care of, have already been taken account by making it a part of curricular activity. You know that entire curriculum now have been divided to 8 curricular areas, which includes art education, which includes vocational education, and it also includes physical education and well-being. So this has already been taken care of by making it a part of curricular activity. Earlier it was in a co-curricular activity, extracurricular activity. Okay. Now it has allotted 5 periods per week and 150 notional learning hours per academic session. I'm really a little bit, I may say, not shocked, but I'm really perturbed that how these 5 periods per week will be allotted for the physical and health education, because we have core subjects also. And I'm sure that if we have a 40 periods per week, we may not be in a position to manage or give 5 periods to physical and mental well-being. Of course, you have a 45 to 48 periods per week, then you can handle it. There are various permutation and combination for achieving this purpose, how we allot the 5 periods per week for the physical and health education and 150 notional learning hours. But what is the real challenge now? Another real challenge is for this build-up, emotional build-up, how to create a happy classroom to ensure mental well-being. How to create a happy classroom. That's a real challenge. Now, this requires teachers to not only fine-tune their mindsets and their skill sets, but also their health sets and their heart sets. That needs fine-tuning of teachers. There is no doubt that teachers with empathy and high emotional intelligence are asset to the school. Yes, such teachers tend to motivate their students better and understand students' behavioral and psychological well-being. But I think something wrong. Yeah. Okay. But reflecting emotional intelligence in classroom pedagogy is really a challenge. Very easy to say, but really a challenge. For this, the teachers need to have multi-pronged strategy, how they can build up the emotional intelligence in the teaching learning process. So we need to have a multi-pronged strategy. The first, the teacher's very physical presence in the classroom. This is most important and very crucial. How teachers make her or his physical presence that impact in the classroom. Teachers not only need to be calm and composed in most provocative situation, they must be graceful under pressure. Yes, they need to do very academic, para-academic, non-academic activities. All those pressure will be there, but they need to be very graceful because the teachers are a scanner of their students. Now, by physical presence, we mean that teacher's posture. Yes, how is he or she is walking in the corridor, entering into the classroom, moving into the school campus. That posture is very important. Smile. Yes, that smile is very important. Professional dress code. That's very important. Teachers' professional attire must be very, I will say that attractive, not the repulsive one. Facial expression. Voice. It has to be properly modulated. Not very high pitch, not of low pitch. Eye contact. All this will create appropriate climate for emotional intelligence in the teaching learning process or in the classroom itself. The second important strategy is the teacher's social presence in the classroom. Yes, after the physical presence, the social presence in the classroom. Their composure, confidence. This means that well prepared, had a good poise, and relaxed teaching style with a sense of humor. Yes, that's I think, God gifted quality that you must have some humor. Reinforcing student participation, making it engaging, exploring, and extending are essential ingredients to create not only the happy classroom, but also to ensure mental well-being and emotional intelligence in the classrooms. We need to do some homework before we need to go to the school. And the next is the teacher's delivery mechanism in the classrooms. Space of presentation. It has a logical finish, clarity of presentation, start in time and finish also within time, employing all those 5E strategies. This is the delivery mechanism, the clarity of the delivery that makes, I think, give a picture of having emotional clarity or intelligence in the teaching learning process. Now, the 4 important words that teachers must remember to practice the emotional intelligence in the classroom. And you are all aware of these 4 words, I know, because I heard it in some teachers' meeting. Love, honesty, respect, and trust. So give them your love without any prejudice, without any bias, and with honest intention and purpose. Give respect, give them a voice, and then nurture greatness, nurture talent of every child. We should not have anything prejudice. We cannot say they are the first generation learners. They cannot learn much. He is not a very focused student. He or she cannot learn. I think these are all with the prejudice. We need to avoid those prejudice because this prejudice will create insecurity later on. Then in this insecurity will lead to hatred. You know, the cycle of anti-values. We often talk about the value education, but we do not give mind to the anti-values that often indirectly created in the school climate that we need to avoid. Some other time I will talk about these anti-values in detail. And build trust. That's very important. Build trust. Trust makes learning fruitful. Yeah. And to build trust, a teacher must have competence, confidence, and character. The 3 C's, then only trust can be built up. And as far as possible, yes, as far as possible, we need to put up laughter therapy at the end of each period. A soothing experience, laughter therapy, as far as possible. May not be possible every day, but can we do it 2 or 3 times in a week at the end of each period? But how all this can be imbibed? Because it is being often heard that our teachers are becoming semi-skilled over a period of time. They are not responsible for this because we are not empowering them on a regular basis. So how this can be imbibed? So that these qualities, this physical presence, social presence, these qualities of love, honesty, respect, trust can happen in the teacher's activity, behavior, in their movement. Now, all this can be imbibed by putting the teachers in the back to school program, using this terminology. It's not a jargon. Back to school program, where teachers return to a room as a student. Okay, this will help teachers to get some space, some time to discuss, to debate, to get the new skills, to get the new knowledge, to innovate. Can you institutionalize this back to school program in the school itself? It has to be institutionalized. We need to create teacher support system. It has been mentioned in the NEP also, in every school, so that they can be empowered on a regular basis. It is very important to know that what our teachers are lacking. Everybody is ignorant about something. Each of us is poor something in our lives. I am having that technology poverty in my life. Then why we are reluctant to admit it? Okay, so teachers may have occupational poverty. Teachers may have intellectual poverty. Teachers may have even the emotional poverty. So, and because empowered teachers will definitely take care of their students' disruptive behavior and relationship management. I've actually, before coming to the place, I had taken a beautiful quotation. It says that behind every successful student stands an empowered teacher. So empowerment of teachers is very, very crucial. So whenever teacher admits, I need help, whenever teacher says, I need help, maybe of occupational poverty, anything, intellectual poverty, emotional poverty, we have to provide them the requisite support. We have to institutionalize this, how we can create this teacher support system. If need be, we can even have 1.5 to 2% of school budget earmarked for this purpose. Because we have to address the challenges posed by Industry 4.0, Industry 5.0. The fifth industrial revolution is going on because of this AI. So similarly, like the teacher support system, we need to provide also student support system in the school. Yes, taking care of meritorious students, giving support and guidance to weaker students, dealing with disobedient, disoriented students. We have to provide this. That's what we need to practice is educating. Besides educating, I'm again using a word educating. You may not find in the chambers section, but I will explain what we mean by educating. So we need to practice educating along with the educating. See, educating is a process that begins outside, okay, and ends inside. We are forcing every knowledge, everything inside, that the student may not digest it, but we put in inside. It's a traditional approach. It has a limited performance management. In this process, creativity, originality, and emotional intelligence are not encouraged. So, educating is the reverse. That's what I'm educating. Educating is the reverse. It is not putting in, but drawing out. Drawing out shy students, attending to weaker students so that they can catch up with the rest. So I will advise the teachers, practice educating also along with the educating. So because caring for every child is at the heart of this process called educating. Here, every child is important and not few. And every child must learn and not few. Then only we can universalize mental well-being and emotional intelligence across the entire spectrum of school education. So our mantra should be caring, sharing, and solving problems together. So again in short, first, at least make, if your Saturdays are open, at least make 2 Saturdays in a month as bagless days. Yes. spend at least 1 hour on those Saturdays, which is a bagless day, on activities that will promote happiness, that will promote mental well-being, and also emotional empowerment. Number 2, be proactive and not reactive. Avoid firefighting culture. Number 3, be creative, be innovative, and be poised. And you can be innovative only when you are having the imaginative, and it can be imaginative only when you are reading a lot. These are all, I think, synchronized, correlated things. Number 4, be self-critical. I do not know how many teachers will agree to this proposal. Be self-critical. How up to date you are. Listen to the feedback. Listen to the writing on the, see the writing on the walls of your school campus. 5th, be visible, be available. Students should be prioritized rather than your personal work or rather than on your paperwork. Students should be prioritized. And 6th, yes, never stop learning and avoid fossilized thinking. If you can have these qualities, I'm sure you will be energetic one and you will be making it happen. How we can create every classroom as a happy classroom, and how we can implement this mental well-being and this emotional intelligence, I think, in the teaching learning process. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you so much, sir, for that inspiring session. Thank you again for reaffirming the value of being human and staying human in an age of technological invasion of our physical and cognitive spaces. So before we end,
ask them if they have any questions. Okay, then
yes,
they can send it to your email. Okay, and then we
yes,
can look at it. And if some time comes, then we can also discuss on those questions actually, because there will be, because I have provoked them, there will be many questions we have not answered in these 2 important topics. Okay.
absolutely, sir. I'm sure, because they have a lot of things to share, a lot of things to ask you, and many of them have been in the chat. They have been asking for your contact details.
Okay.
All participants, please note down all your queries and share them with us, and we'll have Mr. Ganguly clarify them for you. Before ending today's sessions, there are 2 items on the agenda. Number 1, one of our dynamic and articulate leaders of Viva Group, Mr. Sekat Nag, will share a brief message. And after that, our executive director, Mr. Akash Vasisht, will deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Sekat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. What to say after such a powerful event, the program we already have received and got ourselves enriched with. Since, as we all know, teachers, that we organize this program as a Teachers' Day special. And definitely for teachers in this country, you have always known, we call it Guru. And today's session, it is clear to us, as we say, for thousands of years, the country has been preaching Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitang Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. And definitely, sir's perusal is a light in the dark. Definitely, I believe that it will help us to make this a successful journey for this fraternity and the future pillars of our country. Thank you so much, teachers. I would like to request our director, sir, Mr. Akash Vasishta, to deliver the vote of thanks. Thank you so much again, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saikat. So, thanking you can never be enough to express our gratitude and sense of enrichment as a publisher. As a publisher, we always strive to find avenues for the holistic manifestation for perfection across length and breadth of the nation. Understanding the needs and fixing the issues on a theoretical note and implementing the same at classrooms are completely different ball games. And there you stand, sir, with your wisdom as a candle in the dark to make the students move forward, to let the teachers guide and to direct us to appear as a better magic wand maker, better a magic wand maker using which our teachers will do the magic to our future pillars. Thank you all delegates for attending, staying, and promising to make the footprint towards the future where we can implement the dreams of NEP, which we believe will ensure manifestation of the strength of our pillars of the nation, which we believe will help them to stay rooted while exploring the universe. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes, good.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to
Good.
Ganguly sir. Saloni can end the session.
Yes.